Hello, good evening. My name is Andrew Cushman. I'm from the Microsoft Security Response Center, MSRC. I don't know, anybody ever heard of that? Anybody ever submitted a bug report to the MSRC? No. Come on. Let's go to the next slide. I thought I'd start with a little bit about who I am. I've been at Microsoft a long time, almost 20 years. I'm on my third career. I did a bunch of stuff on the consumer side of the house. I worked on IIS on the web server on version 4, 5, and 6. And then I decided I'd go work in security. So today I run the Security Response Center. That's the team that's responsible for Patch Tuesday. What's that called in Spanish? Patch Tuesday. Patch Tuesday, okay. Well, you know, in China they call it Black Wednesday because it's already the middle of, it's already the morning over there. And I work in a team, it's a centralized team within Microsoft that is responsible for security engineering policy and security response policy, for defining it and for enforcing it. So that team is responsible for SDL, the Security Development Lifecycle, and you know, that we are responsible for actually improving the quality, the security quality of the products. I run two teams. I run the operations team that is responsible for the updates, the patches that come out, and I also run the team that's responsible for community outreach to hackers, outreach to certs, and outreach to ISVs that create security products. And I'm also responsible for the Blue Hat Conference. That's the internal Microsoft Hacker Conference. Anybody heard of that? Okay. And the next one's coming up in October 14th and, or 15th and 16th. So why am I here today? Well, you know, I was supposed to be here yesterday, but you know, that's how it goes in Argentina, right? I'm here to talk about 3 programs that we launched this last year. Exploitability Index, Nika, that might be of interest to you. The Microsoft Active Protections Program, and Microsoft Vulnerability Research. These are 3 programs that we put together in response to the changing threat environment. It's not, I think Dave gave the keynote today earlier, and he says it's not like it was 5 years ago. It's not like, huh?
In the 90s.
In the 90s, yeah. How old was Dave in the 90s? Come on. And the threat landscape today is such that not one single company can actually help protect customers. And you know, maybe this audience is not all that worried about protecting customers. You think more about breaking things. But you know, my job on the second Tuesday of every month is to get customers protections as quickly as possible. And really it's about community-based defense at this point. There's an expression in English that's, it takes a village to raise a child. Well, similarly, it takes a village, it takes all of us to actually protect the internet. And so the programs that we announced at Black Hat are really about how does Microsoft take a leading role in a community-based defense. So there's 3 programs that we announced. Microsoft Active Protection Program. At 10 o'clock in Redmond, we release the updates for the month. At 10:01, the race begins to reverse engineer those and to create exploits. I remember, you know, there's a number of people that have told me that they have an automated script that keeps pinging the download center to see exactly. Oh, did you write that one? Yeah, to see exactly when it's there. And in fact, we had Lorene Grenier from SourceFire come and talk to us, and she said, yeah, in fact, there have been times when they were made available on the download center before 10 o'clock, and so she actually had an exploit ready at 10:01. It's a race, and part of the job is to give the good guys a head start here. Exploitability index. CSOs, the chief security officers, come and they tell us, you release 6 patches, 12 patches, 2 patches. I need to know which ones I should worry about the most. One of the things we found is that not every vulnerability is going to have an exploit written for it. And exploitability index is our attempt to tell people which ones they should be most worried about. And then the vulnerability research program. Over the last 5-10 years, Microsoft has developed a great deal of expertise in finding and fixing vulnerabilities. It's a little harder to find vulnerabilities on Vista than it was on XP. And one of the things that we've seen is that as the Microsoft platform gets a little harder, people go look other places. They go look at Adobe, they go look at Apple, they go look at whatever else is ubiquitous is on the Windows platform. We think there's an opportunity for Microsoft to help those other vendors improve their products. So we're going to go start reporting those vulnerabilities to them. So this is a pretty marketing slide, but the Microsoft Active Protections Program, essentially the problem that we're trying to help address is how does a customer protect themselves in that time when they haven't yet applied the patch? Because the exploits, what's your record for having an exploit out, Nico? Is it 20 minutes? Something like that, yeah. So if you're in the Immunity Advanced Update or the Early Update program, you could get your exploit within 20 minutes of when Microsoft releases it. The goal for us is to help customers, to give them an alternate to applying the patch. So we will make information available about the updates to protection providers, to companies that create signatures that help protect, if this is an IDS or an IPS. So we will make available to them the technical information on the vulnerability in advance of Tuesday. So before Tuesday arrives, if you are a member of the Active Protections Program, you will get technical details of the vulnerability that's being fixed. The goal is to help. The goal is to allow those companies to focus on what they do best, which is creating signatures, instead of have them focus on the heavy lifting of reverse engineering. We already know exactly where the flaw is. We already know what that byte stream looks like that's going to cause, is going to be required for exploitation. By providing that information to to companies that create signatures or protections, that speeds up the creation and it also increases the quality. Next slide. So, who can join the Active Protections Program? First thing is you need to be a company. Governments, this is not open to membership to government organizations and it's not open to companies that produce products that could be used for attack. So it is unfortunate that 2 of those companies are down here. Immunity is not going to be a member of the Active Protection Program, and Core is also not going to be a member of the Active Protection Program. And yes, Yvonne did have some words for my team earlier this week. you must have a customer base of about at least 10,000 in order to join. Next one. And if you want more information about it, MAP, M-A-P-P at Microsoft.com. So what's the exploitability index? This is using standard techniques that this population knows. We will make a prediction about how exploitable a vulnerability is. And the goal is to help customers with their risk analysis and their risk management. Next slide. So, and hit. It is an addition to the bulletin. Can you, one more time. It's an addition to the bulletin. It will be included in the October bulletin that comes out next week. And it has 3 different states. And one more time, please. So, you know, the top and the bottom, those are the easy ones. Well, we think that exploit code that's reliable is likely. Consistent exploit code. And then the bottom one, that's the easy one as well. Well, we think that consistent exploit code is unlikely. It's the middle one where we think that we expect that there may be some difference of opinion. So inconsistent exploit code is likely. And I think that if we just go back and look at MSO, the TCP or the IGP vulnerability from last year, where Kostya, the guys in SWI said, we don't think that there's going to be exploit code for this. And Kostya came back and said, well, in fact, here's some exploit code for that. If you talk to Kostya about it, he'll tell you that he doesn't get root on the box every time. As often as not, he just crashes the box. That's what we mean by inconsistent exploit code. That you're not going to get shell every time. This is a pretty risky thing for Microsoft to do, because there's a lot of people who are very good at writing exploits, and they would like nothing better than to say, hey, Microsoft, you were actually wrong on this. We recognize that that's a risk, but we also think the benefit to customers in giving them more information that helps them with their deployments is a good thing. And then lastly, the Microsoft Vulnerability Research. So what is this? Well, it's a formalization of what we've been doing already. You know, we have researchers that build tools and then run tools, and they run it on. We have at times gone out for demo purposes, gone to a store and bought 3 laptops, brought them back in to say, okay, we shipped Vista, and now let's see what the consumer actually gets. What the consumer gets is a little different than what we ship. So we actually want to go and help raise the quality of products within the ecosystem. So it's a formalization of what we've already been doing. And the goal is to help to provide better protections for customers on a more secure platform. Right? And what are we going to look at? Well, we're going to look at those programs that are most common on the Windows platform. And you can pretty much guess which ones those might be. And where do we find these? Well, we will have employees do this, and we'll also accept incoming reports of, if there's a blended threat, or someone might think this is a Microsoft issue and report it to us, or if there's, we had this problem with the Apple Safari carpet bombing. Go ahead. So, the program benefits here are that we expect that customers will have better information, they'll have protection sooner, and they'll have more alternatives. Additionally, we expect that over time, the quality of Windows software that runs on Windows will improve as we find and report bugs and as we help other companies fix them. And I'm done here because this was a lightning talk, so I will open it up to questions if anybody's got any.
Is there some relation between your vulnerability index and the CVSS score?
The question was, is there a relationship between the vulnerability index or the exploitability index and CVSS? No, not directly. CVSS, as you may know, is a formulaic approach that has a lot of different variables to it. What we hear from customers is keep it simple. They like the simplicity of critical, important, moderate, and so we're going to follow that. That says, yeah, you're going to see exploit code just like that. You're not going to see exploit code, or you may see some exploit code, but you know, it depends on how much time, how much money.
For what reason do you decide if an exploit is just like that, or having to do?
Sorry, one more time.
How do you decide? How do you make the decision?
How do we decide?
The exploitability is how do you decide whether it's likely or unlikely?
Well, it's the same way that you guys do it. You know, it's like, okay, is this an easy exploit to write? Can I get root on the box easily, and reliably, or not? You know, it's not like we actually use engineering to decide whether which score to assign.
So does this mean that you're going to have a bunch of people who are going to be writing exploits for all these vulnerabilities, and if they succeed, then it's likely; if they fail, then it's not likely?
We will use standard practices, yes. So exactly how many people will have writing exploits? Will Microsoft start shipping exploits? No, we will not. Is Microsoft going to be a competitor for people that do make that do write exploits for their business? No. Will we make sure that we put enough engineering into this so that we're not embarrassed by those companies that do that? Absolutely.
With that.
Anybody else? Well, if there aren't any more questions, I would just put in another shameless plug, and that is secure@microsoft.com is that place where you can send vulnerability reports if you don't have anything better to do with them. Lastly, I would just say that I appreciate the opportunity to come down to Ekoparty. Thank you very much. Buenos Aires is one of my favorite cities in the world. So, invite me again, and who knows, I'll come. So, thank you very much.